Wait, you're telling me I got an ace in this thing? This. The F6U Pirate. Are you are you sure? Hey there, Postal here. So I just got done with a really good battle, which we'll hop into in just a moment. But it highlights, one of my favorite planes at this point in the game. A plane I wasn't going anywhere to try to get. I literally got it only because, well, let's take a look at the tech tree really quick for the American multi-role line, or at least the most popular multi-role line, the one that ends in the F7U. To be honest, I think the F84 is a better tier 10 multi-role plane, but the first 8 tiers leading up to it are kinda not very well loved, and so most people go down the Corsair line, which has great planes. When the March of Nations was going on, I took advantage of that and had the F2G, and I realized, wow, between the F2G, between the F94D and the F6U, it's 365,000 experience that you've got to grind. I actually ground out the F6U first, only because if I grinded out the F94D, I would have just gone to it, moved my pilot from the F2G to the F94D, and I would have never gotten the F6U. To me, I always want to try to get as many of the planes as I can, even though I didn't want the F6U, quote-unquote want. I figured I might as well at least get it while it was on discount. I had the ability to buy it before the March of Nations. I bought it during March of Nations. And literally just got it as a, well, yeah, at least I've got it kind of situation. To be honest, it's kind of a flip of the coin if I prefer this over the F94D. I absolutely love the F94D because everybody loves the F94D, right? But that's a totally different video. So why do I like the F6U Pirate? And how do I make it successful? A lot of people that I've ran into, more often than not, most people don't like this particular plane. And to me, I believe it's because a lot of people fly it like it's a fighter, and they really shouldn't. Think of it like it's a multi-role plane. When I first looked at this line, I said, well, why is there a fighter, offshoot? That makes no sense. It should be an offshoot of the Sabre line, right? And, but it makes a lot of sense in the gameplay. If you're using the F6U like it's a multi-role, without bombs or missiles or rockets, I should say, you're going to have a lot of success with this particular plane. It actually reminds me a lot of the Seahawk, if you didn't use rockets with the Seahawk. It has the F2H Banshee, the Tier 9 American heavy fighters guns. So it's got pretty strong guns and pretty poor maneuverability. Decent altitude performance, but really good airspeed. And so, what's that sound like to you? It kind of sounds like a heavy fighter, to be honest, just without the hit points. And so I typically use this plane, as you'll see in the battle, against multi-rolls, against bombers, against heavies, against those things that can't outmaneuver me. And these guns typically tear them up. You're going to see a lot of bombers just kind of fall to the wayside because these guns are so good at taking those down. It actually surprised me at one point how good these guns were at taking down a ground attack plane. I thought I'd have to do a second pass, and I didn't. So, I adore this plane at this point. It's there's a lot of good planes at Tier 9, right? And this is one of them. And I think why I enjoy this one so much because it was a complete surprise at being good. Again, I just got it because it was cheap, cheaper than it should have been, and I figured I'd put a lot of time into getting the experience for it and earning it, so let's play it kind of situation. And it's just as good as the F94D in a completely different way, but just as good. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at our gameplay, and let's hopefully enjoy it with me. Alright, so I recorded the video without any kind of sound, just because thinking I can do that a little more often than not. But here's the plane. So, F6U Pirate. Get a lot of comments on the way it looks. Not the most popular looking plane either. That could be something to do with why it's not a popular plane out on the field. So let's take a look at why this plane is so good. In this particular game mode, we definitely want to just get some sectors to start off with. And you can see, I mean, it's just got airspeed to go, right? That's one thing I really do like about this plane, and something that I think a lot of people underutilize. But I think that goes with any of those planes that need airspeed over maneuverability. So I know we're just kind of flipping a sector here. It's the white defense aircraft, so I can try to maneuver with these things. Even if it was red defense aircraft, I don't really want to try to stick with them. Most things out there will outmaneuver you. What won't outmaneuver you as well? Bombers, heavy fighters, a lot of multi-rolls, but not all of them. I guess kind of 50-50 on the multi-rolls, but all the light fighters will be able to outmaneuver you. So let's go up here and let's utilize that speed we've got. We got a 262. I can easily stick with him, especially if he starts turning. But you can just see how these guns really do tear up, as long as I hit him, tear up whatever I'm going for. So I can't do much more about the comm center. Let's go over to this, I don't even know what the heck that kind of base is called. It's usually a mining facility, but in this game mode it is in an aircraft sector. I don't even know. Alright, so I am trying to get some bombers to finish up a mission for the Vampire, and so if they're available or readily available, I'm going to try to get them. So tearing them up. And what was that, 3 seconds? And we got up here, we're 6,000 feet away from him, was able to boost up. Now the altitude performance on this plane is not the best, but I mean, it can handle being up here. It's not like it's losing a whole bunch of maneuverability anyway, because it doesn't have a lot to lose. It does lose a decent amount of its speed performance, but we got another bomber coming in here. So the RB-17, so a little bit heftier than the German ones. But as you can see, we're whittling away at him, right? And yeah, he may be, he's got a better defense, but he's dead. And this plane just does that so well. I go out of my way to look for bombers, to look for heavy fighters. A little bit less on the ground attack planes, but this plane has the ability to tear those up quickly. So where you normally keep your head on a swivel for, oh, I'm going to get into a dogfight kind of situation, you kind of keep your head on a swivel to keep yourself out of a dogfight in this plane, and you get those planes that you can get down. Really kind of treat it like you're in a heavy fighter, and if you're good at playing heavy fighters, you'll be good at playing this particular plane. Let's see if we can get rid of this bomber before we die. And again, how many seconds was that? We're at 10,000 feet. We're higher than anything else that's going to be bugging us. I really think this game mode is pretty good game mode for this particular plane. And you can see, like, I don't have to, I can do one pass and take out heavy fighters and bombers and things of that nature. So as long as you're aiming for the right types of planes, you're going to do very well in this. So I wasn't quite sure where to go at this point. Not really anything near me. I figure I'm pretty high up for a J7, so I'm going for this J7, even though he can easily outmaneuver me. Hopefully he's just going to mess up. This is one of those things where I've got to make sure that I'm paying attention to my airspeed. So when you can catch up to those planes that are going really slow, you can accidentally shoot right past them, right? So I did recognize there's some defense aircraft behind these bombers, so I wanted to take out one of the bombers, and then see if I could take out a light fighter here, or a multi-role, whatever's trying to defend it. So ME-209A can definitely outmaneuver me. I saw he only had half health, so it was one of those situations where I was like, oh, I can get him pretty quickly if I could just hit him. And that's what you have to aim for, is the multi-rolls and the light fighters that are at half health, or that are going away from you, because these guns will tear them up very quickly. Or, you know, go after the heavy airplanes. You'll be able to stick with them with your airspeed, and your decent maneuverability, at least when going against a heavy fighter, you'll be able to stick with them forever and a day. And I don't think a lot of these heavy fighters really expect it. So let's help get rid of these bombers. My thought process is, with this plane, it's easier to defend those bombing runs. Shoot. I was hoping to get over there before they took it. It's easier to defend the bombing runs than it is to try to flip that other comm center. So my goal right now is to really just make sure we don't lose our comm center. And again, I've got a bombing mission, kill bomber mission, so I figure, well, what better way to do that than defend this sector from all these bombers that are going to be coming in. As far as these bot bombers here. Get rid of this German one, now we've got the Russian one coming in. And you see, I'm not having to worry about, having to hit them for 5 minutes. Really, it's taking me 30 seconds. It's taking me significantly less time to do that. This guy could be a pain in the butt because your gunner was hitting, especially with the amount of hit points that I've got. But these guns, again, even something as hardy as a chain lightning there, tore it up pretty quickly. A little bit wary here of getting at this bomber. I want to try to get my hit points back. He's going away, but he's going to be curving back. I know he's going to be curving back, so here's a good time to gain my hit points back. Trying to aim out a little bit ahead of him, so that way I'm not wasting my own energy. And here we go. Here I was afraid I was going to be speeding past him. And you just see the amount of energy that this particular plane keeps is very significant. Right on. Got another kill, and this interaction really surprised me, actually. So I'm trying to get like a wide angle so I can try to be behind him a little bit longer. You see I'm trying to circle around, but figured I'd get a few hits on him and then keep going, but the guns just tore him up so quickly. Hit the boost just in case he threw down some bombs, which he did, and get the heck out of dodge. So, I mean, even against what was that, an IL-20, these guns can really do some damage, and I think really surprise a lot of people. So let's go see. One bomber shouldn't be able to flip that. We've got the other comm center too, so really if we can just get rid of these bombers coming in, we won't have to worry about losing the comm center too bad, or at least we'll have plenty of time to be able to do that. So it looks like they're getting torn up pretty quickly anyway. As you can see, it's all about these guns. Guns and airspeed, and so if, again, I've said it a few times, but if you enjoy heavy fighter playstyle, this plane is going to fit that pretty well. We got another F6U here, who doesn't know the trouble he's in. He probably knows now. Maybe. Alright, let's get this 209A. Can we get that? There's another plane around me. Oh, there it is. Ooh, double So I need to get rid of him. Oh, hey. Nice. I was happy that he was on low hit points. You can take them out pretty quickly before they realize they're in trouble. Even if they're a good player and they realize they're in trouble, these guns are going to kill them typically before they even have the opportunity to really maneuver. Got rid of that guy. Boosting up, and you can see it's just really enjoying being this high up. And the lack of maneuverability doesn't affect you nearly as much up here either. Look, another RB-17. We're going to be able to tear it out pretty quickly. Done. And I mean, this does all the things I love about an F2H, and I absolutely love the F2H. This has some things it's missing, obviously hit points, you know, I feel like overall energy, but it's kind of like a pocket F2H. There we go. End of game, and I was pretty surprised to see that I got an ace. I felt like I was having a good game, but let's head on back. Alright, and well, we were definitely on trying to get some bombers there. Was able to get a ground attack plane, so we got our McCampbells as well. Got a Marseille. Since we didn't die at all, we got an ace, so that if you don't die you need to get an ace, you get a Marseille as well, yay. Exactly 20, as you saw right before the game ended. Completed stage 7 for the fuel system, getting all those bombers. We got a bunch of other stuff going on, because there's a bunch going on, right? And yeah, totally carried, I suppose is the best way to say it. So I absolutely adore this plane. I think it gets kind of a bad rap because it's not you know, it's not the best fighter out there, to be honest. Let's compare it to the other tier 9 fighters that are out there, and you can see the maneuverability of the KI is completely outperforms the F6U, but the F6U's got better guns, and I really do think that it's got better guns. These 4 guns are awesome. It has better everything else, right? FJ1, which I absolutely love, has better altitude performance and better maneuverability. Not quite the same airspeed, but in most situations I'd probably rather be, you know, just from a metrics standpoint, I'd rather be in the FJ1. Yak 19, probably my favorite tier 9 fighter. That's saying a lot because I've kept all these tier 9 fighters because they're all great. But I mean, metrics wise, it's only much better in maneuverability. The altitude performance and the airspeed are significantly less, but I think, in my opinion, the guns on the Yak 19 are very strong. This MEP 1092, a lot of people might want to compare the two planes, but there's really a significant difference between the two. The guns are similar, but not quite the same. But the biggest difference is the MEP 1092, where you would think the F6U would do well as far as altitude performance and maneuver. Where you think the F6U would do poorly, such as the maneuverability and you know, mediocre altitude performance. The German plane does better, and so it's when you compare these two particular planes, the MEP 1092 really does feel like it's a better all-around plane in your hands. And then last but not least, we've got the attacker here, which really has weaker guns but better maneuverability, and everything else about the two planes is the same. But there's just sometimes it's not about the stats that you see on a plane. Sometimes it's not about the metrics that are being thrown at you. Sometimes a plane just meshes well with you, right? I completely love these particular guns. They're the same guns that are on the F2H Banshee, the Tier 9 American Heavy Fighter. And every time I'm in this plane, I think of it as if I'm in a multi-role plane, meaning you know, you had to go down the multi-role line to get this particular plane. The next plane in the line is another multi-role plane, and so hopefully your mentality should be with that anyway. But you're not going to use it like you would a fighter. You're going to use it like a multi-role in that you can take down heavy planes and most other multi-roles that you come against, and you can't dogfight against the other light fighters you come against. And if you keep that mentality with this particular plane, you'll do really well, because again, it has heavy fighter guns. Yeah, they're not the strongest heavy fighter guns. The F2H isn't known for having the best guns, but they're really good guns. And I think because I liked the F2H as much as I did, I believe that might be a reason why I like the F6U as much as I do. It's actually a joy to play, and hopefully this video kind of showed some of the things that I really like about the plane. So if you enjoyed the video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up. Otherwise, thumbs down, of course. and feel free to send a comment. I always respond to the comments. I hope you enjoyed the video, and otherwise I hope you enjoy the rest of your night.